Vincent van Gogh. You absolutely know the name. You know the vibrant sunflowers, the swirling electric stars. I mean, he's one of the most celebrated artists in all of history. But the story you think you know? That's really only half the picture. So let's peel back the layers and get to the real story of the man behind these masterpieces. Okay, so look at this. On one side, you've got Van Gogh's reality, a struggling artist, a guy who sold like one or two paintings his entire life. Total obscurity. Now, on the other side, today, his work is some of the most famous, most beloved, and most crazy expensive on the entire planet. So what happened? How did the world get it so wrong?
And that's the big question, isn't it? How does someone go from being a complete unknown to a legend after they're gone? Well, the answer isn't just in some history book. It's right there, embedded in the raw emotion and the radical vision of his paintings. So let's step into his world and see for ourselves. All right, our story really kicks off in 1888. Van Gogh is in Arles, this little town in the south of France. And this period for him was just filled with this incredible hope and creativity, all centered around a little place he called the Yellow House.
You see these world-famous sunflowers? They weren't just him painting some flowers in a vase. Nope. He painted these to decorate his home, specifically the room for his friend, the artist Paul Gauguin. They were like a welcome mat, just radiating warmth and energy. It was all part of his big dream to build a community, a brotherhood of artists working together. And then there's this. He's capturing the magic of a cafe at night, right? But check out what he does with the color. It's totally revolutionary. He doesn't use any black paint, not a drop. Instead, he uses this deep, rich blue for the sky and puts it right up against the brilliant, glowing yellow of the gaslights. You can literally feel the buzzing, inviting atmosphere he creates just with color.
This was his whole world at the time. This dream, a place of light, of collaboration. You can just feel the optimism. He truly believed he was on the edge of creating something totally new, not just for himself, but for the future of art.
Yeah, that dream, it was about to come crashing down. His plan with Gauguin ended in a complete disaster, leading to that infamous moment where Van Gogh cut off part of his own ear. The dream of the Yellow House was totally shattered, and from there, he voluntarily checked himself into an asylum.
So now it's 1889, and from inside the walls of an asylum, Van Gogh enters one of the most turbulent, yet, and this is the crazy part, one of the most productive periods of his entire life. This is it, probably his most famous painting. And guess what? He painted it while looking out the window of his asylum room. It's just a breathtaking, direct view into his inner world. You see that peaceful little village down below? And then you see the sky just exploding with this swirling cosmic energy. It's like he painted his own emotions across the heavens. Even while he was confined, he found comfort in the asylum's garden. He sat there and just meticulously painted these irises, capturing every single line, every curve, with these unbelievably bold colors. This wasn't just him painting flowers. This was an act of defiance. It was his way of finding life and hope in nature, a testament to his sheer resilience, even in his absolute darkest moment. After he left the asylum, Van Gogh moved to a town called Auvers-sur-Oise for the last few months of his life in 1890, and here he painted with this feverish intensity, creating what many people think is his final and most haunting masterpiece. This piece is just wow. It's pure, raw emotion slapped onto a canvas. You can feel the wind whipping through that wheat under that incredibly heavy, stormy sky. And look at those pads. They just seem to lead absolutely nowhere. It's often seen as this perfect visual of his mental anguish right before he died.
Van Gogh died in 1890, a total commercial failure, a forgotten man. But that, right there, is where the tragedy of his life ends and the absolute triumph of his art begins.
Okay, take a look at this number. Just 2,000. What in the world could that possibly be? That's right, that's roughly how many artworks Van Gogh created in his short 10-year career as an artist. Think about that. That is an incredible, almost obsessive level of work. He left behind this massive treasure trove of innovation and emotion, just sitting there, waiting to be discovered. And you better believe it was discovered. After he died in 1890, his work slowly, then quickly, started to get noticed. His bold, unapologetic colors and those raw, emotional brushstrokes, they basically became a lighthouse for a whole new generation of artists. He directly inspired huge movements like Expressionism and Fauvism. And today, he's a global icon. His art is everywhere. So why? Why do we connect so deeply with his art, more than a century later? What is it about these paintings that still fascinates us so much?
And that right there is his real genius. Van Gogh didn't just paint what he saw, he painted what he felt. His art is just overflowing with raw human emotion, the joy, the hope, the crushing loneliness, the despair. He gave us a completely new way of seeing, and in doing that, he somehow managed to express the profound messiness and beauty of just being human.
And that's exactly why his art lasts. It holds up a mirror to our own deepest emotions. So the next time you look at a Van Gogh painting, don't just see the brushstrokes. Ask yourself, what do I see in this? More importantly, what do I feel? The answer might just tell you something new about yourself.